This is episode 131 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my guest, Damion Lupo. Damion is the Chief Investment Officer of FrameTec. Over the last 30 years, he's owned more than 65 companies, personally purchased over 150 houses in 7 states, apartment complexes, condos, a long history in real estate. Damion, welcome to the show.
Hey man, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to talk to you and get your background. But first, let's just talk about, I know the company's called FrameTec, but you and I were just talking about this. In general, what are we talking about when we say FrameTec or build tech or contech?
You know, we're talking about something that's disrupting tech. It's and I say this sort of tongue in cheek because the technology of construction has really been non-innovative for the last 50 years, with the exception of the nail gun. Like everything is the same. If you look at trusses, if you look at how things are done, not much has changed. It's just kind of like everything is very static. And so we're definitely a disruptor. FinTech is like a financial technology company that's doing something with finance, and we're doing something that's completely disrupting construction.
Yeah. And so this is built on making the process more seamless and easier to get to, quicker, and also turns into more employment on the end for people in the middle. It's not just an AI business.
No, it's actually, there's a lot of humans. We have a ton of automation, but ultimately what we did is we bridged automation and innovated with humans so that we've got this really healthy balance. And it takes one of the coolest parts that you can almost call it green tech, because we've taken almost all of the waste out of the framing process inside of for a house. And normally you look at a house that's being built or an apartment, there's just dumpster after dumpster of wood. You're killing trees and then you're throwing them in a landfill. And we have almost none because of our technology that's patented. And so that really does change the game. Not only is it better for the environment, but you think about how much money is saved, which we pass along to the people that are getting the product. And we're 80% faster. So instead of like a 2-week or 2-month process to frame, we take plans and have a house framed in 2 weeks, which is unprecedented.
Yeah. So I would think that with any technology in all industries, are you getting some blowback inside the industry because maybe they assume that you're taking away some jobs, but you're making the process more efficient, which the goal is homeowner is going to get a more efficient product. It's not going to take as long to build.
Well, what's interesting is there's a massive shortage of not only the houses, but the people swinging the hammers. People don't want to go out I mean, we're in Arizona, and in the middle of summer, it's 115 degrees out. Nobody wants to go.
And it feels like 140.
Exactly. It's like Abu Dhabi. And so the opportunity is that we're filling a gap. So there's excitement and there's panic because people realize we're completely disrupting. And there's other people saying, when are you coming online so we can order all of our houses and all the framing and get everything, all the missing pieces that we have, they want us to take on. So it's a very interesting thing. People are paying attention. All the multi-billion-dollar builders out in Arizona and nationwide are watching what we're doing, and they're waiting for us to come online. It's very, very exciting.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can be B2B and B2C for consumer, right? Because you start direct to consumer, but obviously some of these bigger companies may need to streamline their process if they want to get developments going, because we're obviously in a housing shortage in America.
Yeah, there's not only the house builders, but the apartment builders. The average apartment, say 100 unit, that takes 10 months to frame up. We're going to do in 2. So 2 months versus 10 completely changes the pro forma, because that's 8 months of wasted time. And that's cost a fortune when you think about 100, 200, 500 unit builds. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal. People are paying attention. We actually just met with the governor a couple of weeks ago and the Commerce Authority, because they were watching and they're all excited about what we're doing. Our second plant, it broke ground. And so we've got 2 that'll cover like 97% of the state of Arizona. So they're pretty excited out here in the desert.
Yeah. So if you go back to 2008, was your biggest mistake just over leveraged?
So there is a whole bunch. I've written books about this. I mean, no joke. It's like all the things I'm like, whoa, I screwed that up and this and that. One of it was over leverage. Part of it was spreading out, not having a niche. It was being all over the place, doing all sorts of things.
Yeah.
It was thinking that, like, not understanding all the things I could be wrong at. Like, I had 7 different projects that were all supposed to net me over $1 million, and I lost over $1 million on each one of them. And so I was completely wrong 100% across the board. So it's making assumptions. And then one of the biggest lessons, and this is for everybody, is to not have people that have been around longer than you, that are older, wiser, that are more seasoned. And I stopped having those people. In the beginning, I had those people because everybody knew more than me. And then I thought, oh, I know plenty.
I
And
know more.
that's when
Yeah.
I had my ass handed to me. So it's always great to have people that you respect and trust to tell you what they see, your blind spots, and then to be able to take action and not let your ego get in the way. I did not have that. And when that went away, so did all my money.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really helpful though to listeners because I think 2008 did get a lot of people, but the people who stayed quit in it, they're not coming back to talk about it because it's just too tough. But what was it about going through it that you knew like I'm just going to rebuild?
Well, in the middle of it, I was hiding in the corner. Like I was, I mean, Osama bin Laden was hiding in a cave, and I was doing something
You were
similar.
next to him. Yeah.
I was in my own cave, man, hiding from everything because I screwed everything up and let a lot of people down, and I felt terrible, and my self esteem and confidence were destroyed. So it took years, and that's one of the hard things when you go out there. People don't realize that when you get your butt kicked and you lose a bunch of money, whether it's 100,000 or 100 million,
Yeah.
there's still a time frame where you have to go through a process, not just of letting your body heal, but letting your spirit, your soul, your mind all heal. And it takes
Yeah.
time. So that's probably 5 years until I said, okay, what do I want to do here? And it was not real estate. It was like anything but real estate. And
Yeah.
eventually it real estate showed up in a different way with FrameTech. And it was other stuff, but it was more mission based. It wasn't money based. And the money became a side effect of the mission. And that's a very different approach than 25 years ago when it was all money. Like, how rich can Damion get? That is
Yeah.
not what this is anymore. I've gotten far richer in every way today because it was missional. It was focusing on breaking people's financial bondage and doing things that mattered, building things, not just trying to skiff off a million bucks here or there or figure out how many points I could peel. It was really doing things that mattered to everybody and not just how much money I could put in my pocket or how much I could consume.
Yeah, and it's much easier to charge, like you said, that pain price, which, in Hormozy's book, 100 million offers, it says it's a grand slam offer. Like it has to hurt to get someone to be committed enough to make it worth our time. And that's like, that was a really great point by you, but I think that's it. It has to be at a level where it's going to hurt a little bit, or else what's the big deal? If someone just spends $99 for your coaching, of course they're not going to show up. Do you really want that $99? Are you going to spend the time to do it with someone who's checked out? It sucks.
No, the funny part is people argue with you when they're spending $99
Yeah,
or
exactly.
900 or 10,000. They argue and tell you, I'm like looking at people going, what are you arguing with me for? You literally have this moment in time to glean and ask questions. People are so stupid that they have opinions. It's like, you don't even deserve an opinion right now because you have no experience.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to ask a question and then run with it. But people don't get that because their egos and their social or whatever, all their brain damage that they have from all of their probably their childhood, that they're damaged from their parents. Like, they have reasons why they need to have an opinion. I don't care what your opinion is.
Yeah. Well, we
I
can't
care that you
fix
have a good
that.
question. No,
Yeah.
no, but the opportunity to ask questions, that whole the whole saying that you've got one mouth and two ears. There's a reason you've got twice as much on one side and half. It's so that you can listen. So ask questions, shut up, and go do the work.
Yeah. And I think that goes to what we're saying about all these things. The more listening, the better. And then ask just one good question. That will really get you farther. It's like when people want a mentor and they just ask someone like, "Hey, how do I become a real estate investor?" And you're like, bro, I mean, that could go 100 different ways instead of saying like, "Hey, I want a house hack, a 2-family. I've looked in these areas. This is my price point. I really think I can do it, but these are the configurations of the unit. Should I do A or B?" Anyone, like a good investor, I'd love to answer that question. You just set it up on a tee for me. Like, I can tell you, and then I will tell you why. But those open-ended questions are also lazy. Like we were saying, it's just like, you don't even want to take the work to formulate a good question. You just want me to like, just go on ChatGPT. I mean, I don't use that thing, but like, if you want the answer, they're going to go on that and trust that. But it's a conglomeration of weird stuff. It doesn't mean it's correct.